Hi everyone, hopefully we're live. Welcome to the Coffee Chinwag show with me. And you'll know if you were here yesterday, I'm doing an interview every day this week at 3 o'clock British Standard Time with an amazing woman who can help you with tips for your career or your business. And how do I know these amazing women? Well, we all belong to the same network, and I've got a mug from that network I'm going to show you called Advance, and it's a network for female coaches, consultants, and service providers. And I'm all about the motto. I don't know if you can see this: empowered women empower women. So I just thought I'd have a few of the great members on this week to just share their wisdom with you all. Now, yesterday I did a session with Brittany and we were chatting about showing up as introverts. If anybody needs the link to the replay, let me know. Today I'm with the amazing Donna and we're going to be chatting about overcoming adversity in business, in life. Tomorrow I'm going to be chatting with another lady called Jennifer on PR and thought leadership. Thursday, I'm chatting to a lady called Melanie, and we're talking about content again and how to create amazing, valuable content for your network. And Friday, we're finishing off with Sabrina on how to develop your confidence as an entrepreneur. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up the amazing lady from today, who is Donna. And here she is. Hi, Donna. Welcome to the show. And
Hi,
do you want
Jennifer.
to, first things first, you're in the States. So I'm curious, what time is it there with you?
It is 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, that's more human because yesterday Brittany came on and it was 7 a.m. her time. I felt really bad for her. So this is a nice time. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell people like who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thank you, Jennifer, for giving us an opportunity to be able to share. My name is Donna Tashjian, and I am the founder of Vibrant Living International. I'm a life mastery coach as well as other things. And my passion is to help women rise above a painful past so they can live the life they've always dreamed.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. And for those of you listening today who know me, you will know that I created my business out of adversity. I'm very much an accidental business owner, and a few things happened to me which made me start doing what I'm doing, such as divorce, back surgery. My mum was hospitalized for 6 months, and I had a really good friend commit suicide. So all of that adversity over like a year or two made me stop and think, what am I doing with my life?
Yep.
What is important to me. And as hard as it all was, it's making me, at least it's put me on the right path, and I'm doing something now that genuinely sparks joy. So I know Donna, she can give us all some tips on how to turn your baggage into luggage. So are there any like top tips you want to share with us?
Well, I thought I'd first start with a story of one of my adversities. We generally have quite a few by the time we get to be my age, anyway. But about 7 or 8 years ago, it was. My kids were grown. I had grandkids. I was working in a industry that I wasn't super crazy about, but it was paying the bills. And so I had taken a job at a nonprofit organization thinking it was going to be my dream job. And I had put all of my hopes, all of my things, and all of my plans. I'm a planner. I don't know anybody else is a planner. I love lists. I love plans. And I had a tendency in my younger years to present my plan to God and say, this is, in case you didn't know, this is how it should be done. So anyway, I was thought that I was going to be going full time. I'd be able to quit this other profession. And I worked there for a while, and then the management changed. And without getting into all, I was let go. And I still remember the day. It was the end of March. It was the last day in March. And here in West Michigan, in Grand Rapids area where I live, it was raining, that kind of rain that's cold and goes sideways. And it matched my face as I left the place, and I felt hopeless and lost. The rug was pulled out from under me. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what I was going to do. And it was just not a pleasant day. But through that process, I asked myself similar questions that you did is what do I want to do with my life? What do I
Yeah.
want to do now that I'm all grown up, if you will? And I remembered whenever I was in my happy place, whenever I was doing what I really loved, I was helping women. We would have called it mentoring before,
Yeah.
or discipling, or that kind of thing is what I had done all through my life. And I began to see the wet red thread through my life that I was always doing something to empower women, to help them be who God created them to be, to help them step into their dreams, to help them overcome adversity. And here I was in one. So I went back to school, and that's how Vibrant Living was born. Off of that, when I was on my back, can't breathe, the rug's pulled out from under me kind of a feeling, till I am impacting women around the world and talking to you from around the world.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that I have learned is one of the first tips of overcoming adversity is looking for the gift in the problem. I call those gifts wrapped in sandpaper. They rub us the wrong way.
Yeah.
They hurt. But when I often say, you mentioned it, turning your baggage into luggage.
Yeah.
And baggage thinking is why did this happen? They didn't treat me fair. This is not right. I don't understand. And we drag that stuff around with us whenever we continue with that kind of thinking. Luggage thinking is I can't change the past. But I'm going to use this to grow. I'm going to use this to become better. And we get to choose.
Yeah.
There are times in my life I haven't done it well, that I stayed there with the baggage thinking. And we all have those pity parties. Am I the only one? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
We have those pity parties where we feel sad for it. So always look for the gift and keep a bigger picture. Don't let this incident or time period be your whole book. It just can be a chapter or a paragraph of your book.
Yeah.
And then we have to keep compassion for other people. Those people we want to go, that's not fair, or that shouldn't have happened. Those people we might want to blame is forgive.
Yeah.
And then get help. I got a coach at that point in my life. I got someone to help me through it because we can't see what we can't see.
Yeah.
We don't understand our blind spots, and having someone to help us through it. So that's my first one. I have others, but that's one. What do you have?
That's a great story. And I'm sure lots of people can relate if they've been made redundant, especially the last year or so with COVID. And I know I was made redundant in the past. And at the time, it felt so horrible. And again, I had to leave on the same day. And you are a bit traumatized, and you can have the pity party and think, poor me. But I remember at that stage, it was actually one of the best things that happened to me, because I said to myself, how can this never happen to me again? So I massively upskilled, like you went back and you trained to do what you do now. And at the time I was in corporate, so I just went back and upskilled massively so that, I would always be a good candidate for an interview or a job. And I was, and it really helped me in my corporate career. So it was actually a blessing in disguise, but it didn't feel like a blessing at the time.
It does not feel like it, but it really is. I am so thankful I am not in that job. I am impacting more people than I ever would have.
Yeah.
And that whole situation, I am thankful every day that it happened, and that I'm able to do what I'm doing today. So the other tip, if I can move on.
Yeah, go for it. And I'm glad to see we've got some comments come through, because part of me was worrying, thinking, are we live? Is this recorded? But we are. So hi, Lynette, and hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining.
The other thing I call is faith in myself. When we're in that place where I'm talking about laying on the floor with the rug pulled out to me, can't catch my breath, crying, is we don't have any faith in ourselves. Our self-talk at that point are usually not great.
Yeah.
And learning that I can begin to say different words and use different words to describe me. what we don't understand is our brain really doesn't understand a negative. For example, if I say in the morning, I walk into the office and somebody has cookies, they brought in homemade, fresh chocolate chip cookies. And I say all day long, I'm not going to eat a cookie. I'm not going to eat a cookie. I'm not going to eat a cookie. And how much you bet by 3 o'clock with my cup of tea, I'm eating a cookie.
I could do one now.
With your cup of tea. And so we say, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to fail. I don't want to lose. I don't want to hurt again. And when we focus on not hurting, we usually end up hurting.
Yeah.
Where if I focus on what I want instead of saying I don't want to look stupid, is I'm going to learn and I'm going to give myself grace to grow. I don't want to fail. Failure and learning is part of this process. So I'm going to allow myself a bumps and bruises and keep growing. Instead of losing, instead of I don't want to get hurt, I'm going to choose better relationships. And so learning that we get to choose what we want and begin to use our positive self-talk. If you're not, you listening, if you're not doing declarations or affirmations, they are powerful to help us through those difficult places. Have you found affirmations work for you?
Yeah, I have, definitely. And there was something I never really explored for a long time. I thought they appeared like a bit woo-woo, and I just totally get the power of what you said about speaking in negatives. And I actually was part of a coaching program, and the trainer, she was trained in NLP. I think you are as well. And I do think it is so important the way you speak to yourself. And as a business owner, you need to be super resilient. So I need those kind of daily affirmations. I've got a few apps on my phone. I need positive, calming music.
Right.
Just you need to be in that headspace to help you to move on, because otherwise you can be blocked. And we'll all have natural dips when we think,
Yes.
oh, I can't do it, or I'm afraid to fail. But like you said, we have to embrace failure. And sadly, it's not something we're taught in school, especially
It's
not in
not.
Ireland or the UK. It's literally, you're afraid of failure. You're kind of
Yes.
always taught to
Yes.
pass your exams, to go to college. It's all about succeeding. So it can be a real struggle, can't it? Learning how to fail and realizing, well, actually, it's not really a failure. It is just learning and growing, and it's part of life. And it's how many, if you think of all the successful people, how many times did they fail before they finally succeeded? I'm thinking of people like Walt Disney. They failed so many times. Oh God,
Thomas Edison.
I've got a brain fog. Who is the author of Harry Potter? Because it's just gone from my brain.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah, she
but
about 30 odd times before she finally got published, and you just have to keep on going and be positive.
Yes. One of the paradigms that I teach is there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. And it's learning how not to do it. And if we think about, we saw a child learning how to ride a bike. You fall down as you learn how to keep your balance, or a child learning how to walk, and we never slap them upside the head and say, what's the matter with you? But we do that to ourselves, and society does it to us as well, like you were saying. And so, but if I can take the attitude is that I'm going to get better, because as entrepreneurs, we're doing things we never did before. And we don't know how to always do that. So learning to do that is a really big step. And I got one more tip today.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
And this one I call take action. Now, Winston Churchill had a famous saying, if you're going through hell, for God's sake, keep going.
Yeah.
And all of us have had a plan A, B, C, or D that didn't go like we thought. But we tend to camp out there. We get stuck in our disappointment, like I did when I lost my job. And we tenaciously hold on to those feelings, or to even bad situations that we really should move on, that we're really not happy with. So I was out for a walk one day in a new neighborhood, and I passed a house that had an elderly couple sitting on the porch. And the man was reading a paper. He had lemonade. She had a glass of tea and was crocheting. And between them laid a dog. And I like dogs. I have two. So I noticed the dog. But what I really noticed is that he was moaning, kind of like a whine, just like a moaning kind. But I continued on my walk. It was a beautiful day. And as I walked back by the house on my way back home, I passed the dog again. He was still doing it, just a little louder. So I paused and said, "Excuse me, can I ask what's wrong with your dog?" And the elderly woman said, "Oh, he's fine." I'm like, "Well, why is he moaning and crying?" She goes, "He's laying on a nail." I'm like, "Why is he laying on a nail?" She pauses and says, "Because it hurts enough to complain, but not enough to get up and move."
Wow.
Of course, this is a make-believe story, but how many times are we laying on our nail?
Yeah.
And we complain and we moan and we don't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
So we combine these three of understanding there's always a gift in any adversity. How am I talking to myself? And taking action. We can get through any adversity just doing those things by what we say. It can help us to begin to be and do what is in our heart and what our passions are.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great story. It's a great illustration because I think we can put just as much energy into wallowing or actually making a positive change for the better. And it is a choice, like you said at the start. And I think at the time you can feel blocked, but the best thing is just to keep going, and push through that pain, like Winston Churchill said. And it can be really hard, but that's really the only way you're going to overcome it, is just by pushing through. And I'm just looking at a few of the comments now. And I just want to say hi to everyone who's J.K. Rowling. How the hell did I forget her name? Just brain fog. Sorry about that, guys. There's about 4 people telling me J.K. Rowling. That's the Harry Potter lady.
Mm-hmm.
I can see, I know there's a lovely lady joining here, and I'm just going to spotlight her on the screen for a sec, Lynette. And I know she's had adversity in the last week or two. She's had a family member die. And so it's really great to see you back here and on and networking. I really appreciate you showing up. And I do know a lot of people have had hard times, especially in the last year. So I love this comment from Kathy as well. She said, "I'm still learning from failure, a very painful lesson that allowed me to learn once I changed my mindset from failing to learning and growing."
Yes.
And it's all a learning lesson, as Donna has said, she teaches it, but she's been guilty and I've been guilty. And even, I think it is important to just show up and acknowledge when you fail as well, because especially in business and especially on LinkedIn, you can see a lot of the glory stories and it's all polished up and it's amazing. But I actually think when you are an authentic human being and you share the adversity, the struggle, the bad times, the learnings, how you've pushed through, that's how people are actually going to connect with you as a human being. If you're always just talking about the good times, the amazing times, actually makes you, doesn't it, quite unapproachable. So I think, don't be afraid to share bad times on LinkedIn. I'm not saying you have to go on every day and share a bad time, but if you've learned from something or if you're struggling, LinkedIn is a network, it's a community, and you never know who can help you. So I'm sure you've all seen posts of people saying they've lost their job or they're looking for work. And what always amazes me is that lovely power of community. And you see 50,000 likes or comments. Human beings want to help each other and actually connect. So never be afraid to kind of put it out there if you're having a bad time or you need help, because there will always be somebody who's willing to help you.
That's what I was going to say too, is that we're not meant to do this alone. We really aren't. And as we begin to share our burdens, and it lightens the load. Like I said, when I got a coach, I got someone to help me. So there's all kinds of resources that are available, but trying to do it alone is hard. We're really not meant to. So encourage you to, if you're struggling, like you were saying, reach out. There are people we just love to help each other. We
Yeah.
do. And being
Yeah.
able to do that is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I always have coaches. It may not be the same coach, but I always have
Right.
some kind of coach or mentor in my life to keep me moving with that forward momentum, especially in business, because you can dip if you're not accountable to someone. You can kind of go, oh, I'll do
Absolutely.
that, I'll get to it. And I think having that kind of cheerleader and that person that's going to
Yes.
move you forward and challenge you to be a better version of yourself is really important. And sadly, it's not something I ever was really aware of when I was in corporate, because you're not massively developed as an individual because it's all about the company. So initially I didn't think of it when I launched in business, and it's probably when I needed it the most. I've had to learn the hard way all these lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, I think you definitely need that accountability, that support. It is
Mm-hmm.
hard. Like Donna said, you don't have to do it alone. There are people out there who will help you get to the next level. So why pull your hair out, when there's actually people who like doing this. They want to help you to get to succeed, to overcome your challenges, and to get to the next praying point. But I think
Absolutely.
a lot of people are afraid to ask for help, though. Do you think, Donna? And they just see it as a sign of weakness, whereas I think asking for help is a sign of strength.
Strength. It's a sign of wisdom. And
Yeah.
strength, yes. But yes, a lot of times, sometimes our society gives that feeling, because you need to figure out how to do this or you're a failure. So if I ask you for help, then I'm failing. And it's not really true, but because the people who do massive, massive things in the world, they've got a team around them. They're not doing it alone. There's a team of people who are good at what they're not good at.
Yeah.
And helping and realizing that as you grow and as you scale. Why do you think the companies that are so massive? Because the CEO or whatever didn't do it alone.
Yeah.
There's all the people supporting us, and we need that too, even when whatever size we are, whatever place we are in our life, looking for a job or owning our own company. It's being that help around us is really important.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because when I first launched in business, I think initially you do think you need to do all the things. And if you're not good at it all, you're like an absolute failure.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it's all about outsourcing. So there's certain things in my business I absolutely detest, and they are accounts. I'm not an account person. And I can make graphics, but it's not my specialty. I can create a PowerPoint, but it's not my specialty. So, and even copywriting, I've got an English degree, but copywriting is a completely different skill.
Mm-hmm.
So, the more I've outsourced, the more I've given myself sanity and peace of mind. And then the more my business has succeeded, because I'm not attempting to do all of these things. And yes, I could do them. I could do the accounts, but it will take me 2 or 3 times as long.
Yes.
And I will literally be pulling my hair out, and I would rather be helping somebody on LinkedIn. So I think you really need to learn to outsource and realize that you're not failing. The reason you've got into business is because you love what you do. You don't love doing all the things.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a hard lesson, and I know I struggled with it, because in corporate I did do all the things. I was an office manager. I am a super organized person, and I did accounts for other people. But then you realize, do you know what? I actually hate this. And it's good at it, but it doesn't give me any joy. So I think once you kind of relinquish those things that don't spark joy, your life and your business becomes way more pleasurable. And
totally.
I have my issues with tech now and again, but we've mastered StreamYards. That took a while. A lot of people presume that I'm super techy because I'm on social media. I am not. I've recently transitioned from my MailChimp to ActiveCampaign. That's been a whole new learning lesson. And you feel like, oh, I'm failing. I can't get this. But you just have to go with the flow and ask for help. And I have asked for a lot of customer service support. Definitely.
Yep. That's the way we learn.
Yeah, it is, definitely. I'm just quickly looking at the comments again on the side. So Chantal has said she's looking for a job, very challenging at the moment. All I would say to you is, if you're looking for a job, in my featured section underneath my summary, if you scroll through to the very end, I've got 2 blogs on top tips for looking for work on LinkedIn. So do check them out, and feel free to put in the comments what kind of job you're looking for, because you never know who's here on the live and who can help you or who knows somebody. So don't be afraid to say what kind of job, where you're based. So definitely check out my blogs, and I can send you, if you check out my YouTube as well, I've done 1 or 2 webinars with recruiters about how to use LinkedIn to get a job as well. So a nice comment from Susanna, just saying great points and a conversation that we all need to hear. So I'm glad you think that, and I did think it'd be a great topic to have Donna on for, because too many people, especially on social media, it's all the icing on the cake, it's all the gloss, it's all the wins, and I am guilty. I've got award wins behind me, but I'm also willing to say I have failed many, 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 many times. I have had many, many challenges, as have, I think, every human being has had a challenge, whether they tell it to you or not. Yeah. None of us is perfect. We're all infallible human beings, and I think if you try to be perfect, like, how stressful is that? So any kind of progress over perfectionism any day. And I think that is a learning lesson that I've had to learn the hard way. So I'm just conscious of time. I was going to ask Donna a few more questions. So I know you're writing another book. So what's your latest book about?
It is called An Umbrella on a Sunny Day. And it is all about overcoming adversity. That's basically what the whole ministry I'm involved in is, helping turn our baggage into luggage so that we can live the life we've always dreamed. And the reason why I chose the title, An Umbrella on a Sunny Day, is because when we've gone through adversity, we often prepare for something to go wrong, even when it's a sunny day. It's, if it's going well, we're like, okay, where's the other shoe going to drop? I don't know if they say that there, but they say it in the US. And it's like preparing for the worst ahead of time. And so this book is a more personal story of, it starts with me as a teenager. And it shares a lot of different stories and some more in-depth tips on how to overcome, and it's free. So,
oh, wow, amazing. Amazing. So how can people get that book? I mean, obviously you're writing it now. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you so that they get updated?
It actually is available right now. I just finished it since we talked, and so it's available. It is on my website, which is ivibrantliving.com, and it's free right on my website. All you have to do is ask for it.
Brilliant. And I will stick the link for that as well into the event page and under the comments as well, just in case anybody's looking. So do check it out, because I think we all need to learn how to overcome adversity and to just reframe failure. So it sounds like an amazing resource. And in general, what's the best place for people to contact you, Donna? Like, what's your favorite? You don't have to say LinkedIn, but what's your favorite platform? Like, where
I have 2 favorite, and it's Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are the 2 that I'm on all the time. So you can find me either place. On my website, I have lots of free resources that are available to help us succeed.
No, they sound amazing, and I love the sound of your book, so I'm going to check it out. And I love the name of your last book as well. I love the baggage into luggage. I like the umbrella on a sunny day. I think it's great. Then we've got another person. Look, I love the book title, How to Turn Your Baggage into Luggage. I agree, definitely. So go and check out Donna's website and definitely download that ebook. It will be an amazing resource. We're nearly at 30 minutes, so I want to just quickly wrap up and say thank you very much, Donna, for coming on today, sharing your words of wisdom. I'm loving your calming vibe as well with the candle behind you. You look really good. And I just wanted to give a shout out again. I mentioned this at the very start, the Advance Network, and just say I'll be doing another interview tomorrow with another lady from the network. And if you're interested in learning about this network, they're doing an open day in it's an open week or 2 in early August where you can actually visit for free. And that's how I met Donna. So it's an amazing network of female coaches, consultants, service providers. A lot of the ladies are in the US, there's some in Canada, some in Australia, there's a lady in Greece, there's about 10 in the UK, including myself. So if you want to widen your network, so if you're watching today and you are like from my network in Ireland or the UK, if you want to mingle with ladies across the sea, get in touch. I will share the link with you because it is a great network. I found it really useful because everyone is like mind. It doesn't matter where we are in the globe. We can all share tips and learn from each other. So thank you for listening today. Thanks a million for coming on. And yeah, I look forward to reading your book. It sounds amazing. So I'm going to say thank you everyone in the comments, and hopefully tomorrow again, 3 o'clock for another Coffee Chinwag. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.